and that they could see that there was no attempt to kidnap these children. So she faces now 6 months in prison for making up that lie. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. This is the True Crime Edition, Meghan and Harry. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. I do feel slightly responsible for the shenanigans that went on today. I did a video where I said that Meghan Markle was not invited to the coronation because she was a liability, in that she might have said that the paparazzi was trying to unalive her. And I made this goof and gaff about it, and I was like, and she's,
"Hey, Harry. Hi. There's paparazzi out here trying to kill me just like they did your mother. Okay?" And he'd be like, "Well, Meghan, what about me?" Well, they're trying to kill me with their mouths. Okay? They're calling me a massive bitch. That's trying to kill me, though.
So I did that whole thing, and that's why I felt a little bit tinge of responsibility for this, because, I might have given her some ideas, let's face it. But okay, let me start. A spokesperson for Prince Harry. Last night, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Miss Ragland were involved in a near catastrophic car chase at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. The relentless pursuit, lasting 2 hours, resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. While being a public figure comes with a level of interest from the public, it should never come at the cost of anyone's safety. The only response to that so far is from the NYPD, and their statement reads, "On Wednesday evening, May 16th, the NYPD assisted the private security team protecting the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. There were numerous photographers that made their transport challenging. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived at their destination, and there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests in regard." On the face of this, I thought that this was an orchestrated event. I thought it was a setup. What I think we're going to do is start from the end of the night and work backwards, because the end of the night has all the juicy bits in it anyway. So let's start with that. So they come out of the awards ceremony and they hail a cab. And this cab driver, his name is Sunny Singh, and he sure does sing, as they say. He does. Totally paid off for this. By the way, everything I'm saying here is alleged because there's no evidence to support their claims. So I am just going with what could be, for legal purposes. Piers Morgan interviews him and gets some very good tidbits out of him. Sunny Singh has a very big problem with telling the truth. Mind you, he's only had an interaction with the Sussexes for 15 minutes, but yet he can't get his story straight. First of all, they hail him, Meghan and co. And then they ask him when he stops, "Are you free?" Which, if anyone knows who gets into a cab, and I think most cities, but especially in New York City, the light is either on or off. I'm going to play his interview at the end of this, but I just want you to look out for these particular inconsistencies. They get in the cab. He says that 3 passengers got in the cab: Doria, Meghan, and Harry. He says they don't tell him their destination. Destination unknown, honey. Just drive. How many times have you got in a cab in New York City and they don't ask you exactly where you want to go? The first thing that a New York City cab driver will ask you is where you want to go, because they have a choice as to whether they want to take you there, yes or no. So anyway, they get in the cab and they're driving along, no destination, and then they notice that they're being followed by what he says is 6 blacked out vehicles with cameras, which he changes to 2 blacked out vehicles. At that point, they don't tell him where they want to go. They say, just drive up and down FDR Street, which is this street here, then take us back to the building where you picked us up. And Piers asks, "Who told you that?" And he says, "Oh, the bodyguard." So Piers is like, "Oh, so there was a bodyguard there. So it wasn't 3 people, it was a bodyguard, so it was 4 people. Oh yeah, that's right." 15 minutes of literal blacked out vehicle fame, darling. And you can't remember? He says he follows those instructions and takes them back. They get out the cab, but not before asking him his name. Some might say that That's a very strange time to ask somebody their name when you're leaving them. Maybe you should ask it when you first meet them and get in the cab. Yes, because by hailing in plain sight a yellow cab and getting in it, you're at least asking for one person to follow you. So you have your story. Or it could be because you want to call them later and corroborate the story. He says they paid him very, very well. I would wonder if that was tantamount to bribing the amount they paid or not. But anyway, let's keep going. At that point, Paris says, so it was 6 vehicles. And then when did this 2 hours of pursuit happen? He said, no, it was just 2 vehicles. And I don't know when the pursuit happened like that because for 2 hours, because that must have been after I dropped them off. I know nothing more. And that is the end of what I know and the end of what I've been paid to say I know.
I have a little exclusive because we are joined by the man who was the taxi driver in this, part of this wild car chase with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Sunny Singh was driving his yellow cab last night and picked them up and went off for 10 minutes and then brought them back, it seems. Joins me now live from New York. Mr. Singh, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
No problem. How are you doing?
Could you tell me exactly what happened last night?
So I was crossing on 67th Street, going west on 67. By the precinct, there was security standing there. They hailed me, and they said, "Are you empty?" I said yes, and they told me to pull aside. As I pulled to the side, Prince Harry and his wife and another lady jumped into my cab, and they seemed very nervous. And as we went a block, we were blocked by a trash truck, and then all of a sudden, paparazzi just came out of nowhere, and just flashes just went off.
How many paparazzi would you say there were when you had them in your cab?
I want to say six that I seen, and there were about 2 cars following us as the trash truck moved, and there was 2 cars following us.
And where did they want to go?
Well, they were just about to say the location where they were gonna go, but then the paparazzis came, and the security guard said, "Hey, listen, just circle back to the precinct."
So they had a security guard in the cab as well?
In the cab, yes. When they were exiting, they say, "What's your name?" And I said, "Sunny," and that's like, "Have a good night." And then they exited, and then they went back into the SUV again.
It's been categorized that there was a 2-hour wild car chase through the streets of New York, but was the time
that must have happened before me.
So there was no car chase when you were there.
Not when they got into my cab. We just went around the block, and 2 cars were tailing us behind us with a camera, and that was it.
And then you went back to where you'd actually picked them up.
Yes, we went back to the precinct, and then they exited, and they thanked me, and I thanked them as well, and then they exited my car.
Did they remember to pay you, Sonny?
Yeah, they paid. They paid well. They paid well.
Do you think it's been overblown, this incident, or not?
I don't know what they went through last night, right? Because I only had an interaction with them for 15 minutes, and they seemed very nervous while they were in my cab.
Okay, well, Sonny, listen, I appreciate you joining me, the man at the centre of the storm, quite literally. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure talking to you too.
All the best.
This is where the big black hole happens. The big blacked out vehicle hole happens in their story. And Meghan and Harry are saying that then they were transferred to another vehicle where this high-speed chase happened. Of course, all kinds of people are coming forward saying, number one, we never saw this in New York City that night at all. And number two, it's logistically impossible to have a high-speed chase in gridlock traffic of New York City. Anyways, they claim that there was 2 hours of high-speed chase. I don't know how much they were going to copy, so I continue to look into this. I didn't know if they were going to bring out a Bronco, like OJ. I just didn't know how much of the stories that they know they were going to copy, because they copied the Diana thing already. So why not copy OJ? Were you in a Bronco? So silly. Anyway, the whole point is they reached their destination. As you know, the NYPD did not get a call, or did they? We don't know. My concern is, as you can see on my title, is whether they did make a call to the police. Usually when something like this happens, they will have a press conference with the police chief, the mayor, the this, the that, and they will say, look, we can't talk about it. We're finding out the evidence. If it's discovered that they did make a call to the police, it's called reporting a false crime. It's a misdemeanor, and you can get up to 6 months in prison for it. Just last week, a mother who is a social media influencer, could not find very much more content to create. And so she decided to create this content that her 2 children had a kidnapping attempt on them whilst she was leaving a craft store. It turns out that there was CCTV in the car park and that they could see that there was no attempt to kidnap these children. So she faces now 6 months in prison for making up that lie. It's just happened last week. And her name is Katie Sorensen. And I don't know. I knew about this. So to me, I thought everybody would know about this. I mean, including Meghan and Harry. They should have known that you can't just make up attempts on your safety or your life or your kids' life. You just can't make stuff up. There are consequences for that. And perhaps they did know that, in fact, because I don't know if they've reported it to the police up to now. But the fact that the spokesperson for the Sussexes does mention the police, the NYPD officers, I think that's equivalent to reporting the crime. Oh, by the way, multiple times they said the police told off. They told off these blacked out vehicles, these paparazzi vehicles. They told them off. They wagged their little finger at them and said, stop trying to mow down people on the sidewalk. Stop running red lights. No, we're not going to give you a ticket. We're not going to arrest you. We're not going to shoot and ask questions later like we normally do. We're just going to tell you, no, naughty you. And that didn't work, according to the Sussexes. Nobody saw you. Literally nobody saw you. And they keep talking about Harry has footage. Why not release it? If this is not an actual criminal case at this point, why not release it? Which makes me think that why is it taking so long? Are they doing CGI animation where they have cars like exploding and like rolling in the street and like, you know, boom? I don't know what he's trying to create because it's taking a bloody long time. And editing takes long. That's why you're watching this now. Oh, so they were staying at a private home, apparently, which I also think is quite convenient for them if they want to create a story of how they were not protected and bad things happened to them. Because if they had stayed at the Carlisle, where everybody from the Met Gala stayed, where they had all the paparazzi controlled, because those hotels have security in place, that when you're coming down the road being chased by paparazzi, they have a plan in place to save you. Okay, and keep you protected. Also, the Ritz-Carlton, where Kim Kardashian stays, and the paparazzi is like literally lining the streets out there. Why do they have to keep using up people's things? They love us staying in people's houses. They love to use up people's coffee machine and their pillows. Why not stay in a hotel? You have to go and live in people's houses. What is that fetish? Or was it because you wanted to create this story where nobody could ever track you, trace you, and say, I work at the hotel, I'm the bellboy, and I didn't see that? Like, I'm just looking at all the angles that this is just not true. It's just like, I'm sorry. No, I can't believe this is happening. And I blame Catherine, man. You know, Catherine, Jesus Christ, man. Did you have to really come out here on King Charles's Steinway piano and do a whole piano concerto out of nowhere? Just there's a drum machine playing because she is giving a nod to the song that won the Eurovision contest last year. And the Eurovision is a big deal. It's all for charity. And that's why Catherine is contributing this. I mean, like, I didn't think we could love you anymore. And then you did that. Imagine how Meghan is. Meghan is so green with envy. She couldn't go to the coronation. Now you're just going to come out here and do talent that she has none? You remember she was so excited that she could do join-up handwriting.
Meghan, you are a calligrapher?
I used to be, yes. That was, I went to all-girls Catholic school. Handwriting class was one of those
And
lost
how do
arts.
calligraphy... Oh.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, I shall
do tell.
It's out of nowhere.
Oh, do tell.
Let's not talk about my talent. You know, I do join up really well. And they're like, oh, you're... And she was so chuffed about her ability to do join up handwriting that she even had to explain, like, oh, well, I learned because, you know, it's very... You learned because you're a dirty skank and you're trying to look classy. That's why you learned it. You took it upon yourself to learn it so that you would look like you have some kind of class, which you don't. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. No, I have to say it now because it's too much now. And whenever she would go up to sign anything, she'd be all like, oh, hey, move out the way and just give me the fountain pen. Ready? Let's go. Watch this. I can join up. I can join up. Can you do that? Oh, you can? Oh, like everybody can? Oh. You know, so anyway... How insane is she to really put this together? Either that 2-hour chase didn't happen, or if it happened, it was probably the Unhinged Sugars that are chasing her. Because she doesn't have very many fans, remember? So the only fans she does have are unhinged, mentally ill people. And I'm saying it because I'm the one that has to deal with all the emails, all the comments that I have to delete because I'm so afraid that even YouTube will not accept that these people are commenting this way. Another reason why she would have been so thirsty to do this was because I guess her last mountain hiking event really flopped because the mainstream media even was very skeptical about how she was photographed there. They talked about, I said that in my last video, they talked about how did they find her in the middle of a mountain, completely jeweled up with all her jewelry and whatever. It looked like it was planned. It was backgrid, and I think they already knew that. And speaking of backgrid, I think a lot of the paps outside of this, let's get to the ceremony. Gloria Steinem gave her an award for something about champion women's rights or something. So
it's funny because as a young girl, I would come home, I'd settle in after a day of school, pull up my TV tray of dinner, and I would turn on my evening ritual of Jeopardy. And I would glance at the coffee table.
She talks a lot about ay 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 arriba ay 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 ay. This is what I deny. I'm gonna give her some advice that is constructive at this point. Women's rights, women's suffrage, and all that. That was a long time ago, 50 years ago. The bras, taking off the bras, and then you had before that the women's suffrage. That's all been sorted. It's been sorted to the point where we have a struggle, which is trending now, for transgender rights. Men who are very comfortable to become women. That's how good our lives are as women, apparently, that even men want to become us. So what I think you should do is start to champion transgender rights. That's what's actually current. I think it would be perfect time for you to allow Harry to transition. It's up to him. It's his choice, his body, his choice. But transition to a woman, and that way you can actually speak on it, because the women's rights thing, that's not your actual life. You have allowed yourself to be objectified, sexualized. You gained money from doing that. You have not gone out there and picketed and done anything at all for women in countries where women do struggle. So this is all crazy. Upon entering, I forgot about the entrance. The entrance is the best part. There was no red carpet for this event. I'm jumping all over the place, sorry. They go through a lobby of Hertz Rent-A-Car, and then I was thinking, that was a perfect opportunity. I think Hertz is 24 hours open. You could have easily rented an economical vehicle, a small vehicle, nothing too flashy, and just driven out of the event through the back in that. Why has she even bothered to orchestrate this performance? One is, Catherine. And also King Charles, just having that coronation, that jealousy. The second thing is Harry is in this court case where he needs to prove that his fear of being attacked by the paparazzi and need for security from the Metropolitan Police in England is a valid fear, and it is not just a fear in his head. Well, if he thinks that this shenanigan is going to convince the judge. And the third thing is that it's content. They do have an interview coming up with Gayle King. CNN, Chris Licht, who is the new CEO of CNN, who has slimmed down the budget of CNN, has gone outside himself and done a little bit of a treat for Gayle King by paying her $12 million while sacking like so many people because he couldn't pay salaries like that. Of course, Oprah, she's like, let her borrow my outfit. She borrows my outfits all the time anyway. She can borrow this outfit too. So she's going to have a turn with them. And they need a focal point for that interview. In the last interview, they had the focal point of the fetus discrimination against the fetus. And they had the unaliving of Meghan Markle. Both of those things have been debunked, obviously, since then. But I do think now they need something that they can prove happened, at least for once in life, because they've told so many lies. Then I think this is what this is about, that content. Also, Archewell has now become a talent agency, by the way. After that French reporter dragged Archewell from Montecito all the way to France and back, they've now changed the premise of Archewell. It is now a talent agency and a content hub, I guess, for their content. Guess what happened? Oh my God. We were involved in a high-speed chase. It's so crazy. I want to say one more thing about the ceremony. It was really amazing how like they did have a musical performance, and I was really looking forward to it because I was like, oh, it must be like Beyonce or something, you know, like women independent. I thought it might have been that, but no, it wasn't. It was this, which is totally just as good.
I want to lift my sister up. She's not heavy.
So I'll leave you with that lovely musical performance. It is what it is. Anyway, I love you all so much, and I hope you enjoyed watching this true crime edition. And let's see what happens with this Meghan Markle fallout. There must be some kind of recourse and consequences for this. I love you all so much. Love you. Bye.
Bye.